folks, welcome back to the Frontier Western Heritage Channel. I'm Todd Kesner, and I'm back out here at the gun range outside of Bozeman, Montana. And I'm going to run a video today of a second video of the 1860 Army. And if you watched the previous one put out a couple of weeks ago on the 1860 Army, my group wasn't really anything to write home about. Wasn't real thrilled with that group. And I know this gun can do better, so I'm going to try this again this week and see if we can't make a few changes and see if we can't get that group to tighten up. And I'm actually going to make two videos today while we're out here. I'm going to split it up because it's going to be a little bit long if I try to do all this in one video. So I'll be wearing the same clothes, and we'll have a second 1860 Army video out of today's shot as well. But there's some things that we're going to do to hopefully make this 1860 Army a little more accurate and see if we can't get that group tightened up. So one of the changes that I've made to the gun itself is the rear sight on a Colt open top revolver is on the top of the hammer. So the hammer nose has got a notch in it, and that's what you line up with your front sight. That notch was nearly not even a notch. It's more like a dent. And so I took a triangular file, I cleaned that out a little bit, didn't change the depth of the hammer, just cleaned out that notch so I can see the front sight. So hopefully that'll help some. And the second thing I did is I had skipped putting grease around the cylinder arbor last time around, and you can get by with that for a few shots, but after a while it'll start getting pretty dirty, and even after 3 cylinders full it got pretty dirty. So I'm not going to skip that step again. I filled the arbor. There's little grooves in the arbor. I filled that with Montana Extreme gun grease. I wanted a grease that wouldn't just melt like a bullet lube was or would when the gun got hot. So I've added the grease. Hopefully the cylinder will spin a little more freely, won't get fouled up so fast, and made that notch in the rear sight a little bit bigger. And as far as components go, this first test I'm going to run, I've got 2F old Ainsford powder, and I'm going to try that because the 3F that you normally use in this didn't produce a great group, and so I want to try the 2F and just see if that makes any difference. And I'm going to try 2 different projectiles. One is the 454 that I've used in the past, and then I'm going to try a 457 and see if that makes any difference. So I'm going to compare these 2 bullets with the old Ainsford 2F, and we'll see what we get, and I might even hop up the powder charge a little bit when I find my favorite one. And by the way, you folks that have written in, I appreciate your input, and I stand corrected on the pronunciation of old Ainsford. It's I've been saying old Ainsford, and a gentleman wrote in who has lived in that part of the world and knows that it's called Ainsford. The town in England is actually Ainsford, and so I'm going to go back to old Ainsford and continue to pronounce that correctly. The last video, I already had a lot of that video in the can, and so I got corrected, didn't go back and reshoot that video to correct that pronunciation. And then I got a note saying, hey, now you got me saying it wrong, so I apologize for that, but it's old Ainsford from here on out. And I'm going to load this gun up, and 30 grains of double F powder. We're going to start with a 454 ball, and let's see if we can't get this group tightened up a little bit. Alright, well, I've got the 1860 Army loaded up with 30 grains old Ainsford double F powder, and I'm using the 454 ball. And the only other thing that I've done is that I have put a orange dot on the target to give myself a little bit better point of aim than just trying to hit the steel plate. So that would help as well. So let's take a look at this, and let's see how the 30 grains of double F old Ainsford and the 454 ball go. Well, it looks like I missed the plate once, and the rest of them, the 5 that did hit, are not a whole lot better than what I got last time with the triple F powder. So I'm going to go to the larger ball, and let's see what we can do. My orange dot seemed to last one shot, and then it disappeared on me. So I'm just going to try to fixate on the center of the target. So I'm going to load up 30 grains again, but I'm going to use the 457 round ball, and let's see if that makes any difference. All right, so we've got the 457 ball in here now, and so it's just a little bit bigger diameter. You wouldn't think that 3/1000ths of an inch would make that big of a difference, but we're going to give it a try. It did shave more lead off, obviously, around the ball than the 454s, and so what we're ended up doing is we're going to have a little bit more surface area that's making contact with the rifling, because we've kind of, when you get with a bigger ball like this, as you slice that off, you're almost making like a capsule-like pill out of the thing, more than a round ball, sort of. And so there'll be a little more surface area on here. We're still with 30 grains of double F Old Ainsford, and we're going to try this and see if this makes any difference. Well, it looks like we've made a bit of a difference here. We've got a better group. It's, you know, not super tight. It's shooting high into the right, which I could deal with the file, and we'll go over a sighting in video at some point. But we got a pretty good improvement here on group size, so that's a little encouraging. So we're starting to go the right direction anyway. And so just for fun, I'm going to see what I can get away with if I try. There's plenty of room left with the round ball. There's plenty of room left in each chamber. So I'm going to see what I can get away with and see if I don't raise this up to 35 grains, give it a little more pop to it, and see if that makes any difference at all, and see if the accuracy, if there's no effect, or if it gets better or worse. So let's give that a try. I'm going to load it up with 35 grains double F Old Ainsford, and the same 457 ball, which right now I'm starting to like because the group is tighter, and let's give that a try. So I'll get it loaded up and we'll take it from there. Well, here we go again, our third trial, and as you saw in that last one with 30 grains of Old Ainsford double F, we at least hit the plate 5 out of 6 times, and the group tightened up. It's high and to the right, but at least we're going the right direction with tightening up that group. So this time I've put in 35 grains of Old Ainsford and double F. We just upped the grains by 5, and we're going to see what this 457 ball does with that higher powder charge. So it's going to give a little more pop to it, but at the same time, it does move that ball closer to the end of the chamber, and sometimes that'll affect accuracy as well. And so if you know the folks that will use a light load, a lot of times they'll fill part of it with powder and then fill up the rest of that chamber, except for the space for the ball, with like a cornmeal, and then put the ball on top of that, and so you don't have that big distance between the end of the chamber and where the ball rests. So now we've got the ball a little bit closer to the end. I didn't use any cornmeal on the last one. I just shoved it down in there and just to see how it works. And but we are starting to tighten up. So I'm going to give this a try, 35 grains, and let's see how this goes. Get my last cap off of there. A couple of them stayed on. Well, I'll tell you what, I am getting a little more impressed with this gun. I was a little concerned that the 1860 Army, you know, the gun itself, the model itself, is is known as being a super popular gun during the Civil War and well afterwards. And so the capability of the model itself is certainly been, there's a strong bit of evidence to it. This reproduction just wasn't doing well. Now I'm looking at it and I'm starting to like this gun. 35 grains with the 4.57 round ball really made a lot of difference, and it might just be that distance from the end of the chamber. Like I was talking, with the 30 grains the ball's pretty deep, with the 35 the ball's closer to the end. That could have been the difference. This gun might just like a little more, the barrel might handle a little more velocity with a little bit bigger ball. Whatever it is, we're starting to develop a group here, and I'm real happy with that. So it's a good start. There's ways of fixing this as far as the point of impact. My point of aim was dead center on the round plate, and I'm high and to the right, and these guns typically shoot high. A little bit of work with the file, I can move that over a little bit, get that a little bit to the left, and get it more at point aim. We're at 50 feet, so 50 feet is a pretty close distance for a military, originally a military firearm, and so for shooting high anyway, that part doesn't surprise me, because you'd be shooting longer distances normally than 50 feet, but there is a way to move this a little bit to the left as well, and so I can work with that. So if you like the video, please hit subscribe, and also hit the thumbs up button, please, and that helps a lot with sharing historical firearm knowledge with folks that may not find the channel otherwise. And I'm going to just keep on going here. We're gonna sign off for now. We're going to come back with another test with the 1860 Army, really part 3 with some conicals, so let's do that next with another video. In the meantime, thanks for watching this video, thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time on Frontier Western Heritage. And just kind of thought maybe there's some alterations, some simple things that I can do to maybe make this gun more accurate. So I'm going to start over because I just. Are we still running?
Yeah.
That have written in, I appreciate your input, and I stand corrected on.
Okay.
All right.